Highway hypnosis. You're driving down a dark, empty highway late at night. The steady, rhythmic thump of the tires passing over the concrete expansion joints creates a heavy cadence. Suddenly, you realize you have no conscious memory of navigating the last 5 miles of tarmac. Your hands were on the wheel, but your mind was completely gone. This is called highway hypnosis. It's a strange state where your brain's occipital lobe stops broadcasting visual updates to the prefrontal cortex. Instead, your superior colliculus takes over steering via peripheral optic flow reflexes, while your neural oscillations drop from an active 15 Hz beta state down into a flat 9 Hz alpha rhythm. Your conscious intent completely detaches from the electronic throttle actuator, leaving your physical braking reflexes running on a delayed brainstem survival loop that miscalculates stopping distance by up to 150 milliseconds. Velocitisation Illusion. You finally exit the dark highway, steering down the off-ramp toward the city. The ambient streetlights begin to blur past, and as you glance down at your speedometer, a jolt of panic hits you. You're doing 70, but your body is convinced you're gliding at a gentle 30 miles per hour. This is velocitisation. After sustained exposure to high-velocity linear motion, your vestibular system's otolith organs completely adapt to the fluid inertia. Your semicircular canals stop registering the speed, while your neural network suffers a massive sensory adaptation lag. Your brain miscalculates the physical braking force required by your vehicle's multi-piston calipers, tricking your motor cortex into delaying deceleration. You approach the looming intersection completely blind to the fact that your kinetic energy has quadrupled, leaving you dangerously exposed to a catastrophic kinetic override. Troxler Fade. Stuck at the city intersection, your eyes lock onto a single blinking red traffic signal ahead. The night is quiet, and as you stare intensely at that solitary light, the surrounding landscape begins to twist. The buildings, the road signs, and the asphalt in your periphery slowly dissolve into a formless, murky gray fog, leaving the red light floating in a void. This neurological blackout is called the Troxler fading effect. When your gaze is rigidly fixed, the photoreceptors in your peripheral retina experience rapid neural adaptation. Because the visual scene outside your direct focal point isn't moving, your brain's primary visual cortex determines the data is redundant and completely stops processing the sensory input. It aggressively cuts the feed to save metabolic energy, leaving your spatial awareness compromised as your lateral geniculate nucleus actively deletes the stationary world around you. Brake vector illusion. You finally press down on the brake pedal to bring the vehicle to a halt on the slick pavement. As the pads bite into the rotors, a sudden violent sensation washes over you. Your body feels like it's being pitched backward into the seat, and for a terrifying split second, you are absolutely certain the car is accelerating forward out of control. This is the brake vector illusion, a critical somatic mismatch triggered by sudden deceleration. When braking on low-friction surfaces, the forward inertial force combines with gravity, creating a backward-tilted gravitinertial acceleration vector. Because your eyes lack external motion references in the dark, your brainstem misinterprets this backward vector tilt as backward pitch. It falsely concludes you are accelerating rapidly, causing your somatic system to override reality and tempting you to unsafely release the brake pressure entirely. Windshield Cocoon. Leaving the intersection, the city noise fades as a dense downpour begins. Locked inside the cabin, the steady sweep of the wipers creates an isolated sanctuary. This comforting isolation is the windshield cocoon, a dangerous state of environmental dissociation. As the glass barrier filters out external auditory cues, your reticular activating system downregulates sensory vigilance. The microenvironment satisfies your brain's evolutionary desire for shelter, tricking your thalamus into treating the moving vehicle as a stationary room. Your neural network enters a low alert state, actively suppression peripheral hazard detection. While you feel entirely safe enveloped in this localized bubble, your situational awareness plummets, leaving your motor reflexes severely delayed when external road conditions rapidly deteriorate. Infrasound fatigue. As your speed stabilizes on the open roadway, an invisible force takes hold. The low-frequency vibrations generated by the vehicle's tires and wind shearing against the chassis create a steady acoustic wave below 20 Hz. You cannot consciously hear it, but this is infrasound fatigue. These acoustic pressures resonate directly inside your inner ear's tympanic membrane, bypassing the cochlea to stimulate the vestibular system. Your central nervous system misinterprets this constant silent vibration as physical motion sickness, releasing cortisol while suppressing neurological alertness. Your cognitive processing speed drops by up to 20%. The subconscious acoustic assault actively induces a profound, unexplainable drowsiness. blinding your conscious mind to the fact that your neurological reaction threshold is actively collapsing. The pillar void. Approaching a sweeping curve, a vehicle merges from a side street, completely invisible to your eyes. It isn't hidden by darkness, but by the structural frame of your own car. The pillar void is a psychological blind spot amplified by motion. The vehicle's front A-pillar creates a small structural obstruction, but as both vehicles move forward at matching relative angles, the approaching target remains perfectly locked behind that thin beam. Because your eyes scan naturally across the glass, your visual cortex suffers from a binocular gating illusion. Your brain seamlessly patches the missing visual data using the surrounding background scenery, tricking your conscious mind into believing the road is completely empty until a sudden, imminent collision vector materializes. The Garage Linger. You finally pull into the dark, quiet sanctuary of your garage and switch off the ignition. The engine ticks as it cools, yet you remain completely motionless in the driver's seat, staring into the dim space. This inert state is the Garage Linger, which is simply a distinct psychological transition delay. After hours of intense neurological processing on high-velocity roads, your brain's prefrontal cortex struggles to downshift from the high-alert hypervigilance of driving to the mundane reality of domestic life. The enclosed vehicle serves as a psychological decompression chamber. Your neural networks actively stall, resisting the transition as your dopamine levels normalize, locking your physical body in place for minutes before you can finally open the door.